The Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. Jesus said to the 12, "Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward." The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. You may be seated. Well, two comments. One, in light of Lisa's children's talk today, this is the house of God. So you were all on the welcoming committee. And so anytime you see somebody you don't know, please welcome them. Make them feel at home. Second thing is, I've been complaining about this pulpit being a little too small, and the theater department heard me, so they built that. And I'm just like, No, it is the sets as we get ready for the next show. Well, I'm going to vary a little bit from our tradition with the text because I want to talk about something else today. I hope everyone is getting to enjoy a nice 4-day holiday weekend in honor of the 4th of July, though I know that a 4-day weekend is not the reality for many. But I've heard with the holiday falling on a Tuesday this year, a number of employers are giving their people Monday and Tuesday as holidays. It's a wonderful opportunity to relax and celebrate. Don't worry, I'm being a good taskmaster. We're not off on Monday. So today I'd like to spend a little time in our worship to kind of join in the celebration, remembering the birth of our nation 241 years ago. Oh, I know the 4th of July is not a Christian holiday, nor is it on our liturgical calendar. But our citizenship is part of our life with God. As we've said so many times before, all of life is part of our life with God. Our worship life, our home life, our work life, our times of leisure, and our role as a citizen of the United States or whatever country we're part of. All of that is part of the relationships Christians have with God. To put it in other words, being a child of God impacts every aspect of our life. How I carry out my role as a father or husband is part of my life with God. How I do my work is part of my life with God. How I handle each minute of every day is part of my life with God. You may have heard that old, what I consider artificial divide between the sacred and the secular. Well, I don't think there is anything that is secular, because that would mean being apart from God. Every aspect of life, everything that is in the universe belongs to God. And so all is part of our life with God. And so today we pause to remember that we are children of God who are citizens of the United States. And we give thanks to God for the blessings that provides. Yes, of course, we understand that God is far bigger than any one nation. And of course, God is not an American any more than he's a German or French or Afghani. But it is right and proper that we say thanks to God for the blessings we experience in being part of this nation, to celebrate together the gift of freedom and the hope of democracy. Now, I know many pastors don't want any hint of patriotism in worship, and I understand their hesitation. Patriotism, like any other good thing, can be overdone. And the love of nation can become a false god, idolatry. But I don't think that means we have to ignore this part of our life together. Patriotism can be a good thing when it's properly understood. I would suggest for Christians, patriotism is about appreciation and participation. Appreciation to God because we have much for which to be truly thankful. As we remember and give thanks this weekend, we're thankful that we get to live in a democracy, a participatory form of government that's enjoyed in only a minority of nations. Yes, believe it or not, this is a participatory government, meaning each of us has the right and the responsibility to cast our votes whenever called upon to help guide the course of our nation. Now, whether we actually do it or not, that's another story. Personally, I think a failure to vote is poor stewardship. Failing to reflect on the issues we're presented with and failing to vote is failing to use a gift we have been given and that many have sacrificed their lives to protect. It means giving up our voice, however small that may be. It's giving up our voice in the process of government, which is community life. An informed and participating citizenry is the keystone of a democracy. You and I have a calling to learn more about the issues we face as a society and to vote to the best of our ability, not out of self-interest, but as children of God, as followers of our servant Lord. I'm so thankful today and every day for the blessings we enjoy as citizens of this country, the freedoms that we are enabled to have, the freedom to assemble, to talk about life, no matter how strange my views may seem to others or theirs to me. Our freedom to come together to worship as we choose, as long as it doesn't step on the rights and freedoms of others. The blessing of a free press. Now, I know some of you out there are ready to debate that one, but an independent press, free from government control, is a gift not enjoyed in many parts of the world. And an independent press helps ensure we continue to be free citizens of a free country. Our freedom of speech is a gift. To be able to voice an opinion, even when it disagrees with the majority, that's a big thing. This freedom to dissent, to disagree in a healthy way, is so important to both our history and our future as a people. So I have a challenge for you. Perhaps the next time you hear someone voicing an opinion that you strongly disagree with, maybe you might say a quiet prayer of thanks that this other person enjoys the right to say it. And maybe remember what a famous political philosopher once said, "Sir, I disagree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." As a nation, we hold these common freedoms in highest regard. And I say thanks be to God that we can enjoy the blessings of these freedoms. Freedoms such as few in this world have ever known. We need to treasure them and neither give them away nor let them be taken from us. And I think there's another aspect of patriotism that has to do with, you could call it loyalty. And yes, we remember our most important loyalty is to God. And our loyalty to God is above all other loyalties. As citizens of this nation, we're part of something larger than ourselves, something worthwhile. It's a good thing to say, "My country, right or wrong." But it is something else entirely to say, "My country, never wrong." That, again, is idolatry. Rightly understood, my country, right or wrong, means I will stand behind and beside my fellow Americans, whoever they are, to care for one another, to defend one another, to share the load with one another, no matter what. Speaking of which, the 4th of July is also an appropriate occasion to say thanks to God for those who serve others by putting themselves in harm's way. We are most grateful to the members of our military for your willingness to put your life on the line for the sake of others. God bless you in your serving, and may you never, ever be called upon lightly. One final thought for this 4th of July weekend. I'm sure you all have noticed how, ever since President Eisenhower first declared it, it says on our money, "In God we trust," rather than a defiant, chest-thumping thing, as I hear some people state it. Maybe those words, "In God we trust," can be a humbling reminder every time we take out a coin or a bill. In God we trust. Not in our money, not in the strength of our military might, not in anything else. In God we trust. For there is always an enemy that can relieve us of our money and bypass our military might. Whatever the next day may bring, our hope and our strength to endure is always and only a gift from God. In the days ahead, I invite you, as you spend each dollar bill, each coin, remember what it says. In God we trust. So this July 4th is an occasion for celebration, for giving thanks to God for wondrous opportunities, for the freedoms we do enjoy, and for the gift of democracy. We have reason to give thanks for 241 years of history and growing freedom. May we ever use these gifts to make this world a better place for all people everywhere. And to God be the glory. Amen.